This isn't just a bad look for Jackson State. This is a terrible look because number one, what Deion said about y'all, it's looking like it was true. And number two, maybe, just maybe, if you wouldn't have been so shady behind the scenes, Deion Sanders wouldn't have left in the first place. Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen, you better get your popcorn ready for this one, or your favorite meal you like to eat whenever you watch a YouTube video, because come on now, who doesn't do that? Anyways, that's besides the point. We gotta talk about Jackson State. They just got flat on exposed. As to when I'm speaking, as to when you're watching this video, this is breaking news. I think this is huge, and let me just throw this out there. The stuff that is being leaked out about Jackson State, Deion Sanders said it was happening over 2 to 3 months ago and nobody believed him. Or maybe they did believe him, they just didn't care. And honestly, number one, not only is it a flat out shame, but number two, you can start to kind of understand, hey, maybe this was a reason he went to Colorado in the first place. Or not just went to Colorado, maybe this was a main reason he was wanting to get out of Jackson State. I'm not saying he didn't love the city, he didn't love the HBCU culture, he didn't love the people, but there's definitely some stuff he did not like. And well, what do we know? That stuff he didn't like, it's now coming to light. There's not a nice way to say this. There's not a nice way to put this. This isn't just a bad look for Jackson State. This is a terrible look. It also makes Deion Sanders look like a genius for leaving. All right, let me calm down. We got to lock in. We got a lot to talk about in this video. As always, we're on the road to 250,000 subscribers before Christmas. We got the best college football community hands down in the entire world. So if you want to be a part of it, consider joining and help us reach our goals. We're currently at 243,000. Let's see if we can get slightly closer. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Oh man, we got some drama to talk about, but real quick, gonna talk about this for 30 seconds. I gotta bring it up. Check this out. I didn't think too much about it until I read this post. One of Mississippi State's players, he announced he entered the transfer portal. No big deal, right? I think it's something like 5,000 players are now in the transfer portal. So what's special or different about this guy? You know how all these players, whenever they make a post saying they're now in the portal and blah, 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 they normally write something nice about the school? This guy didn't. Mississippi State's second leading rusher wrote, quote unquote, "Since I'm not very tough and Leach, which is the head coach, is glad I'm leaving, I will be entering my name in the transfer portal." Oh my gosh. I mean, what do y'all think about that? For those of you that don't know, Mike Leach, he's the head coach of Mississippi State. Yeah, he's not the nicest guy to walk the earth, and I'll leave it at that. I can't sit up here and even try to explain to you how he treats his players. If you know, you know. I don't think he treats them a bad way. He's just more of your old school and rugged head coaches. I'll give you a great example. This year, his wide receivers were having a bad game, and he wouldn't let them sit on the bench or chairs. He folded up the chairs and threw them away, so their wide receivers, even when they weren't playing, they had to stand up at all times. I do want to share that with y'all because I just found it interesting. I think that player, he's just being a weenie. Like, come on now, you're basically saying to all these new coaches, yeah, I don't like it when you scream at me and call me bad names. But hey, guess what? That's the new generation. These players don't want to be told the cold hard truth. They want people to go up to them and say, oh my gosh, you're doing so good. It's okay you're having a bad game, blah, 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 blah. Give me a break. I'll tell you this much. This recruit right here, he wouldn't last a second on a Deion Sanders-led team. Whoa. Hold on. Did somebody say Deion Sanders? I think they did. Speaking of prime time, we gotta talk about him, man. What's going on? I'm not giving you the run through on what happened. We've already made plenty of videos talking about Deion Sanders. Long story short, he's at Colorado. It's making a lot of waves, and yeah, we've already talked about it. What we're here to talk about in this video, at least, is what's going on at Jackson State, his former school. Oh man. What I'm about to read off to you is fascinating, to say the least. It is kind of long, and trust me, I do not like reading out long stuff to y'all because I don't want you to get bored, but every single bit of it is important. And if you want me to be upfront and honest, I believe it. And the main reason for that is because Deion Sanders said this exact same stuff was happening over 2 months ago. So do I think it's a rare coincidence that all this information is being brought up out of nowhere? No. You can form your own opinion though. I'm just a messenger. Let's get into it. I'm going to read it off word for word, so just follow along. According to my source, JSU, which is Jackson State, is in the hot seat for misuse of football funds. Individuals was stealing money from the football program by moving it to general funds / scholarships. Basically stealing from prominent players, 80% why Deion Sanders is leaving. In all caps, this will be the next breaking news. You heard it from me first. It doesn't just stop there. There's a lot more, as you're about to see. This person also said, and the plot thickens. Let's run it down. JSU put in Deion's contract that after 30K ticket sales, he would receive a percentage of the sales. That didn't happen the whole time he was there. The ticket sales got missing. That doesn't make sense, but continuing on. Deion, the football team, nor the staff saw any of that money. Before we go any farther, let me explain this to you. It was fairly obvious that Deion Sanders, they sold way more than $30K worth of ticket sales all throughout the season. But yet, and I'll show you a video clip where Deion talks about this, he or none of the players, nobody on the staff saw any of that money. I'll show you the video clip and talk about that in just a second. Let's continue on. There was a lucrative TV deal in place that Deion wanted to get, but the university did not. That is also important. Keep that in the back of your mind. Deion, with his own money, built a new locker room and tennis courts. All the new designs, Deion's pocket. And I assume they meant to say Deion's pockets. The new players lounge, Deion. He also used his own money to feed players. All the fancy meals you saw the players eating, Deion. When JSU went to the Celebration Bowl last year, the school didn't give any money back to athletics. I'm trying to explain this as we go on. For those of you that don't know, the school, whenever they go to a bowl game, they're supposed to give the football team money to buy hotel rooms, pay for food and all that stuff, and apparently, Jackson State, they just didn't do that, so Deion had to pay for it. Which to some people, they're going to say, oh, well, that's not a big deal. Deion's a multimillionaire, but it's more of the principle. The football team's bringing in all this money, and they're not receiving any of it. It's kind of the same argument as to why the name, image, and likeness started up. These football players are a main reason Alabama's making $500 million a year in revenue, yet the football players, they're not getting any of that money. Let's continue to go on because we have a little bit more to read. Deion used a lot of his personal money to fund numerous things around campus. The university did not help. The president wanted his name in the headlines as much as Deion. And last but not least, Deion wanted to coach the Celebration Bowl this year. JSU's president said no. And the Celebration Bowl is sold out. The jury is out on if he will or not. And of course, as we all know, that's not going to happen at this point in time. Here is something that's we'll just say interesting. A last-minute offer was made for $1 million for Deion to stay, but he had to pay his staff out of that. There was no new offer made after the first year of success. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. I'm kind of just finding out about this as to when I'm speaking and as to when you guys are finding out about this. It's just a lot to take in. Oh, man. Just take a look at this comment. So I guess this is a person trying to defend the university, and they said, all of this is unequivocally not true. He did not pay for all the facilities out of his pocket. He paid for a portion, and the school matched what was paid. Additionally, a better source from an actual person who knows some correct info is attached. The narratives are ridiculous. Key points, I'm going to highlight it for you. He paid a portion, and the school matched what was paid. And just like this comment says, and I couldn't agree with it anymore, he should have had to pay anything as a coach. Do you understand that part? That's what I'm saying. There shouldn't be none of this, oh, well, Deion, he only paid half of it and the school paid the other half. He shouldn't be paying anything. That's the point. And by you saying that Deion even paid half, that even goes to prove as to why this is messed up. I want you to check out these tweets, though. The first one says, this really says a lot about who Deion is if it is true. Never once did I hear him talk down on JSU or complain about these things. He just went to work and gave it his all for the kids at that school. What a guy, respect. And under that, somebody replied, it is true. That's why I'm baffled how the black community could act the way they did when he decided to leave. Man literally was coaching for free. And he was. People don't even understand this. He was only making $300K a year at Jackson State. But here's the kicker. He donated $150K just to Jackson State for the football team. That means Deion was making $150K at Jackson State. You want to talk about being underpaid? That's an understatement. Deion Sanders gave half of his paycheck, $150K, just so the football team could eat, just so they could have locker rooms, etc. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm not even going to get into all this. Didn't he help bring in a lot of ice when all that crap was going on a couple of months ago as well? It was something about they didn't have drinking water, and I'm pretty sure he paid for all that, but hey, let's not bring that up. Straight up pisses me off, and here's what really gets to me, and I may get some backlash for this, but everybody knows it's the truth. The way the community, whether you want to call it the black community, HBCU, whatever you want to say, but the community that has given him all this heat for leaving Jackson State, it is nothing more, it is nothing less than the crab in the bucket mentality. That's all it is. I have never seen anyone get this much hate for taking a better job and a better opportunity. Never. I've never seen it. And the people that have hated him on the most, I've been on Twitter, I've been on Instagram, are black people. I don't get it. I really don't. If someone would want to explain this to me in the comment section, feel free. This man was pretty much coaching for free at Jackson State. He was doing everything and anything for these kids in that program, and people are criticizing him for no reason. But going back to this is the worst part about this, just straight up, because it's a blatant lie. Shout out to whoever commented this. It got over 1,000 likes. Well, ironically, he kind of alluded to this in an interview not too long ago when he was speaking about the stadiums. He said to be quote unquote sold out, but when he checked, funds said they weren't. I hate that for us on so many levels. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to dumb this down so everybody can understand it. Jackson State put in Deion's contract that after they sell over 30,000 worth of ticket sales, he would receive a percentage of that, which almost every single game, if not every game, they passed that. They easily sold out almost every single game, but apparently, according to Jackson State, the athletic department, they didn't. Apparently, they didn't even get over 30K, which they at minimum got that. They said the highest ticket sales that Deion and Jackson State got was 28K. And the reason for that is going back to this is because if it was over 30K, they had to pay Deion more money, which they didn't want to do. Like I said though, the reason I believe this is 100% true is because in this video clip I'm about to show you right now, Deion already spoke up about this months ago. Matt wrote a clip.
How can we have 60,000 people in the darn stadium? You talking about we sold out, and I checked the receipts and we done sold 28,000 tickets. Now y'all better find out who's stealing, because that affects my pocket. You may not like it, but I ain't lying.
You hate to see it, you really do. And this is also just going to prove that it doesn't matter how good you are or how great of a person you are in this life. People are still going to try to screw you over. You can do anything and everything for people. And like in this case of scenario, Primetime did everything for this university, and yet they still screwed them over. You want to know the saddest part about this? Deion got the last laugh. Maybe if you would have treated him fairly, maybe if you wouldn't have scammed him over, he would have stayed. But now with all this coming out, it just justifies him leaving. I don't have too much more to say. Let me know your thoughts down below, but